Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Paige. It's nice to meet you. If you're new, subscribe if you want to. It's down a little red box down below. Today I have a bit of a story time for you guys, and this took place at around New Year's last year. It's quite an interesting one. It drove kind of all my friends I was with kind of up the wall. They were kind of scared to be with me. Basically, if you haven't seen me before, shitty things happen to me very often. Today, I'm going to be telling you one of many complications I've had in my lifetime, and let's get into it. This took place at New Year's last year, so it was, December 31st going on into, January 1st. Me and 3 of my girlfriends all stayed in a hotel down in one of these little areas. And so basically how my kind of country works is that each year level from year 11 to year 12 to year 13 all have separate areas that like everyone goes to like for New Year's and that sort of shit. And so basically for year 11, all the year 11s went down to either the Mount or Whangamata. I went down to both of them, but for New Year's specifically, I went to Whangamata with a whole heap of friends. Me and 3 of my friends all decided to get this motel room together, and we took one of my friends, Fina. Her parents came with us, and so everything was all good, everything was fine. We were all having a massively fun time. It was great, no problems at all. And then New Year's came, the actual night of New Year's. Within, I would say, about a 15-minute walk from where we were staying, there was the surf club, and that's where everyone was meeting. That's where the party was at. That's where the fucking concert was. That's where everyone was gonna be. From the surf club that was on the beach, there was kind of like a park, I guess you could say. It was just like a big amount of grass. And that's kind of where the stage was and all that sort of stuff where the people were playing. And keep in mind, the people that were playing, I'm sure they were great, but I didn't really listen to them, not gonna lie. So beforehand, me and all my friends were at our motel and we're all sitting out on our balcony, we're having our drinks, everything's fine. Little do we know, the police that came in town for this specific event, because they knew that there were gonna be heaps of people underage drinking, were staying right below us. Thank God, me with my luck, I would get targeted, I would get found out by the police, but thank God I didn't. That's the one thing. I'm pretty sure they actually would have known, but they didn't catch on, so it was okay. Either that or they just kind of let us go. But anyway, we started drinking at about, I want to say at about 5. We started drinking out on our balcony, and all of a sudden, all our friends that were down here as well, they all started texting us being yo, are you here? We want to come see you, come to the surf club, because everyone was going to the surf club when it got dark. And so basically, eventually, we were just you know what, fuck it, it's a 15-minute walk, we'll start walking now. We start walking to the surf club about 8-ish, and keep in mind, it takes us about 15 minutes from our motel to get to the surf club. And so basically, obviously we'd had a lot of drinks and we were walking with a whole big group of us, keep in mind. And obviously because it was dark, there's a whole heap of other people our age from all over the whole country were walking in the same direction to the same surf club. So these roads were kind of packed with people walking there. As we're walking, we're meeting a lot of new people. They were hey, are you down here for this sort of shit? And I'm just yeah, bitch, I am, and we're having a really good time. This walk was it was just basically one really, really long road to be able to get there. And so we're walking down this thing, and this fucking road seemed so long. It seems fine, when you're sober and you're, but when you've had a couple drinks in you, that shit goes for miles. And so I'm walking down this road and I have my phone in my back pocket because it's a 6 Plus, it's quite big, I've got tiny hands, whatever. So I had it in the back of my pocket. But I was texting my friend Georgia because she was picking me up the following morning. I was texting her the entire night being hey, want to meet up, all that sort of shit, because I wanted to see her because it was New Year's. Fuck, she's my best friend and shit. When you're texting someone, you're genuinely looking at your phone quite often to, make sure that they check if they've replied or something like that, And so as I was texting her, I kind of put my phone back into the back part of my pocket and kind of left it there for a little while. I shit you not, 2 minutes later, I reach into my back pocket to go see my phone. My phone's not fucking there. I freaked the fuck out. I'm down in Whangamata with like 3 friends. My parents aren't even here. My parents are like a 6-hour fucking drive away. And I have no idea how to get a hold of Georgia, let alone my parents. Like, I'm just like, I freak the fuck out. I grab Fina's phone. Like, I don't grab it, but like I ask her politely, you know, as you do. I was like, hey, like, can I borrow your phone? Like, my fucking phone's missing. Like, it got stolen. Like, what the fuck? I start walking up and down this road. Like, literally, not even walking. Like, running up and down this fucking road, trying to be like, have you guys seen like a 6+ at this point in time? Like, it was in like a sparkly case. Like, you've probably seen them all over Instagram. They were like, it was like the gold kind of like sparkly case. And so anyway, I was describing my phone to all these people that are walking up, because at this point in time, like, everyone's walking up in this direction. And because I feel like I fucking lost my phone, like, I started running in the opposite direction. So I was like salmoning with everyone else. And so I was like, hey, like, have you guys seen a 6+? Like, this is a sparkly case. Like, have you guys seen it? Like, I just dropped it like 5 minutes ago. Like, la la la. Like, literally just spewing out all this information. These people are coming up to me being like, no, like, I'm really sorry, I haven't. I remember this one group of people, they came up to us. There is about like, I want to say about like 5 girls and like 3 guys. I'd never seen them before, never met them before, like, keep in mind. They came up to me and they were just like, oh, like, they hugged me and all that sort of shit. And they were just like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. Obviously, like, not like seeing that I was really upset and like, I don't know. As soon as I figured out, like, when I realized that my phone was like gone out of my back pocket, basically, there's another story time to the side of this, but I have had my shit and my phone stolen before, so I kind of knew how to like react in this kind of situation. So I took Fina's phone and I go on Find My iPhone. And this is like 100, like, make sure your fucking Find My iPhone is on 24/7, bitches. Like, unless you want to buy yourself a new phone, make sure that shit is on, because trust me, it saves you so much time and hassle. If your phone says offline, it means that some bitch has turned it the fuck off, like literally powered off that shit so you can't track it. And so basically, in this point in time, I can't track my phone. It says it's offline, and that's how I knew that it was stolen, because my phone was like 100% charged. Like, there is no way my phone could have died for it to be offline. Some bitch had to have like powered it the fuck off. Yeah, that's how I kind of knew that it was stolen. So when I met these people, I was like, hey, like, my phone's just been stolen. Like, I described it to them. They were like, oh, like, I'm really sorry. And then they literally told me, they were just like, look, like, we're up from, I can't remember where it was from now, but it was like, I'm not gonna say like it's a dodgy area of like New Zealand, but like, it's not the most like wealthiest area, if that makes sense. So they were just kind of like, oh, like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm from this area. I know a lot of people from my area that if they were to find a iPhone on the ground, they wouldn't even try and return it. Like, they would keep it for themselves. Like, that's just the kind of people that they are. Long story short, I just decided to give up. I was just like, fuck it. I'm obviously not getting my phone back. Like, this is just terrible. Like, what a great start to the fucking new year. Like, it would happen to me. Like, what the fuck? I had a really, really shitty 2016. I feel like I should make more story times on that, just because 2016 was so not my year. Like, so many shitty things happened to me, including surgery and getting so sick where I missed my exams. But as I said, story time if you want it. I just decided to fuck it, like, my phone's gone, I'm not getting it back, like, what the fuck, I don't care anymore, let's just go have a fun time, I'm fucked off my face, I don't give a shit. I get to the party and I see all my friends and I'm just like freaking the fuck out because I can't find Georgia, and obviously I don't have my phone, I don't know Georgia's number off by heart. I need to tell Georgia that I don't have my phone, so she needs to pick me up at this certain time, running around this like surf club area, this like party scene, I guess you could say, trying to find Georgia. I run into one of our friends, Sarah. I find Georgia, she tells me, she starts crying for me. And I'm just like, I know, I feel you. Later on to the night, I do remember this one part though throughout the night, which is kind of weird. It's kind of like an extra story time, I guess you could say. I was like sitting down on one of these rope things with like a whole heap of like group of my friends like in front of me. And this dude comes and sits down next to me. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, hey, like, what's good? Like, I'm down for meeting new people, like whatever. And he's like, oh, hey, like, what's your name? And I was just like, oh, hey, like, I'm Paige, like, what's your name? He was like, oh, like, yeah, like, how old are you? And at this point in time, he's literally, like, he's got his hand, like, behind my back and all that sort of shit. And he's got his hand, like, you know, like, just kind of pervy shit. And I was kind of quite uncomfortable. I was like, wow, but I don't want to be a bitch and, like, run off, you know? And so he goes and he was like, oh, like, how old are you? I'm 16, like, how old are you? And he goes and he was like, you're fucking with me. And I was like, no, like, why would I lie? And he was like, oh, I'm 21. And I was like, oh, okay. As he says this, his hand is getting progressively higher up my leg. and like wrapping around my leg, and I'm so uncomfortable to the point where I lie my bitch ass off this fucking like rope, and I go, hey, sorry, I just realized that my friend just combed in the fucking bush over there, like, sorry, I gotta go, like, I'll be back in a sec. I never fucking came back. Like, this bitch scooted her ass right off that fucking rope and picked up my friend out of this fucking bush. She was just on the phone to her boyfriend, just being like, oh, hey, like, literally hiding in one of these sand dunes. And I was like, bitch, we're going now, because I don't want this fucking pervy ass 21-year-old following me, okay? Thanks. Yeah, long story short, I had a very eventful, interesting night. I get back to the hotel room, everything's fine, everything's dandy, and yeah, right before I go to sleep, it's about 3 a.m. at this point, and we get, because basically on Find My iPhone you can do a thing where it like pops up, you can put off an alarm as soon as they wake up your phone. You can do like an alarm where it will like keep on going and going and going and going and going, and only I can turn it off. And so we also put something that will pop up onto the phone that will be like, oh, like, if this phone is like lost, please call this number, like all that sort of shit. We got a call at about 3 a.m. and I pick it up, obviously because it was a random ass fucking number, and Fina was like, fuck this is for you. Pick up the phone, and then it's the most dodgiest fucking like voice I'd ever heard in my entire life. It's literally like, it sounds like a fucking murderer on the other side of the line. I was like, hi, like, it's Paige, like, who's this? And it was literally the most raspiest voice I've ever heard in my entire life. They were like, I have your phone, like, if you want it now. I shit you not, I remember the words so clearly. He was just like, I have your phone, if you want it, come by yourself back to the surf club. And I was just like, oh, sorry, like, I can't, like, come now, because, like, I'm locked in, like, the parents are gonna think that I'm, like, fucked off my face, like, they're not gonna let me out, like, I have no way to get out. The alarm is going off your phone, like, I can't stop it. And I'm like, no shit, you can't fucking stop it. At this point in time, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm literally being like I'm not like being like a savage bitch, like, I'm just kind of being like a low-key bitch to the point where I'm just like, fuck you, you stole my phone, you can deal with this. And so I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, like, oh, I bet it is, yeah. And he's like, can you fucking stop it? It's waking up my campsite. And I'm like, no, bitch. Everyone can fucking know that you fucking robbed me. Like, I don't give a shit. Just like, oh, like, I can't come now. Like, I'm not allowed out. Like, whatever. And he's just like, fine, meet me at the surf club at dawn. And, like, by yourself. And I'm just like, okay, sounds good. See you then. Keep in mind, the surf club is, like, 15 minutes from where I'm staying. And I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. I'm just gonna go by myself. None of my friends wanted to fucking come with me. So I wake up and, at, what was it, like half an hour beforehand, so which is good. So I get kind of ready, whatever, I just head out the door, and as I'm about to leave, Fina comes up to me and she's like, yo, like, I'm gonna come with you, I don't want to, like, fucking find your remains in a dumpster, like, thanks. And I'm just like, yo, what a good bitch, like, we are relating, like, thank you, you're gonna save my life. We then head off on our journey back to the surf club. Everything's good, everything's dandy. We get to the surf club, and all of a sudden, I get Fina's phone and I go to Find My iPhone shit again to see that it's now online. So I can track my phone off Fina's phone. Fina gets a text, like, on her phone from the same number from last night. And it says, check the restaurant that's by the side. Someone could have handed it in. Or check the, like, rubbish bins by the area. And I'm freaking the fuck out, because as I read this text, there are literal rubbish trucks circling around emptying all this rubbish, like, out of the, like, bins. And I'm like, fuck, like, my phone's gonna be in those bins. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's gone. We go to the restaurant that he said that there was gonna be in. And they're like, no, sorry, like, no phone's been handed in. Like, we'd tell you if they, like, did, but, like, whatever, like, I'm really sorry. So within this park area, there is now a gated off area. Like, you know, when there's construction, they put up those metal wiring fences that, like, literally no one can get through. Yeah, there was that wrapped around the circle between, like, in the field, and no one could get in or out. And it was, like, the deflated things from, like, the night before. And there was a couple, like, vans parked in there, but, like, let me keep in mind, there was no one in this space, this area, this gated off area. And so I'm like, cool, like, okay, so my phone says that it's in this area. I have no idea how the fuck I'm gonna get in there. Luckily, there was a security guy standing kind of like by the side. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm checking my phone. It got stolen last night. It says that it's in there. Do you reckon that me and my friend can go in there for like 5 minutes max just to find it and all that sort of shit? And he goes, yeah, no problem. So anyway, he lets us in. And I'm tracking my phone on Fina's phone. And literally within 5 minutes of us searching in there, my phone starts fucking moving within the, like, enclosed area. It starts moving. And I don't decide to tell Fina this because she would freak the fuck out, because no one is here at 6 o'clock in the morning within this gated off area that no one's allowed into. There was no one in there. This place was abandoned. This fucking security guard, this good bitch, He then decides to tell us, because obviously, like, I showed him the phone. He was just like, oh, like, girls, have you found it yet? And I was like, oh, no, like, we haven't. And then I showed him this phone to the side, and I showed him that it was moving. And this good bitch, he literally goes and he's like, oh, I reckon if you don't find it in the next 5 minutes, we should call the cops. After he says this, a literal guy, he must have been about 18 or 19, I reckon, gets out like tents that was in there. There was a tent in there. But I checked. I literally went inside that tent. There was no one in there. I shit you not. There was no one in this tent. He emerges from out of this tent and he goes and he literally doesn't even look at me. He looks straight down at the ground. Is it a 6+? And I'm like, yes, it's gold with a sparkly case. He doesn't even look at me, unlocks his fucking truck, unlocks the glove box in it, and gets out the phone, hands it back to me, walks inside the tent and doesn't say a fucking word. Thank you. Long story short, I got my phone back. Everything's good. Everything's chill. So yeah, that was my New Year's this year. If you enjoyed the story, please like it, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I know. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video. Yeah, bye.